Hello everyone, welcome to class 9 mathematics. We are studying chapter 3 coordinate geometry, and in the previous videos you might have learned the basics of this chapter. Now we shall move to the last topic of this chapter, that is plotting point in a plane, right? So for plotting a point we need the information about the abscissa and the ordinate. Okay, that means we must know what is the x coordinate and what is the y coordinate, then only we are easily able to plot the point. So without wasting time, let us start exercise 3.3. In exercise 3.3 we have two questions. Before we start the first one, let us do some revision. The Cartesian coordinate is divided into two axes and four quadrants, right? The x-axis over here you can see on the right side of origin it is plus x-axis, and minus x-axis lies on the left hand side. On the top of origin it is positive y-axis, and on the bottom it is negative y-axis, right? Exactly on the center we call this point as origin. Okay, now starting anti-clockwise we are dividing the whole plane into four parts, right? So the parts are called quadrants. So this one is first quadrant, this one is second quadrant, this one is third quadrant, and this one is fourth quadrant. Clear? So our plane is divided into 1 2 3 4 parts. Those parts are called quadrants. Now over here if you see, so if you go on this direction and on this direction, x-axis is positive, y-axis is also positive, so that is why xy is plus plus. Moving on to the second quadrant, if you see the x-axis will be negative, so x coordinate will be minus, and y will be positive, so here it is minus plus. Moving on to the third quadrant, you see x is minus, y is minus, so both the coordinates will be minus. And on the fourth quadrant you can see y-axis is negative but x is positive, so plus minus. So based on the sign of the x and y coordinates we can easily able to find on which quadrant, in which quadrant the point lies. Clear? So now let us start question number 1. Now the question is, in which quadrant or on which axis do each of the points, then the points are given, they lie. Verify by locating on Cartesian plane. So there are two different questions. In the first part they have asked in which quadrant or on which axis. So right now we will be writing that in the form of words. And then the second part of this question is verifying by locating on Cartesian plane. So this is very important. This is what we have to do in exam as well. Okay, we have to locate the points, that will be the most important point. Now let us start. For your convenience I have drawn the hint, you can take help of this, and let us see minus 2 4, so x is minus and y is plus, right? So I am writing minus plus. In which quadrant, you can see like this, so minus plus is in the second quadrant, so we will write this as second quadrant. Clear? Now you see the next question, 3 minus 1, so plus and minus, right? So plus and minus lies in the fourth quadrant. So here we have the answer, fourth quadrant. See here, very careful, this is very important question. Minus 1 0, over here you see here there is no number, that means this minus 1 over here, if y coordinate is 0, so the point only lies on x coordinate. Clear? But you see here x coordinate is negative, so over here the point will lie on this, so we will write specifically that the point lies on negative x axis. Now 1 2 both positive, so it will obviously lie on the first quadrant. And moving on to the last one, that is both negative, so it lies in the third quadrant, right? So based on the sign we have decided and we found out the answer that these points lie in these specific quadrants. Only one point we had that had only minus negative x coordinate, so it lied on minus x axis. Now let us go for the second part, that is verify by locating on Cartesian plane. So for this we will need a graph paper. Now let us go for the verification. So we are plotting, you can see both the axes are given here, quadrants are also mentioned, okay, and take care of the scale. This is what I feel is very important. Scale is the measurement that you are taking per centimeter on any axis, right? So here we have taken on x axis per centimeter 1 unit, it is increasing, clear, on both the sides. Over here -1, -2, -3, so 1 units. Over here 1 units, above 1 units and below 1 units. So per centimeter I have taken 1 unit. So on the both the axes we have to write this scale, okay. So this will be easy but compulsory whenever you are writing graph. Now let us try to plot. Our first point, you see -2, 4. So x coordinate is -2. So from origin we will move towards the left side 2 units. 1, 2. So we have got this point, clear. Now we have to go for the y axis. So what we will do, we will start from here and we will locate 4 on y axis. So likewise it will be over here and this will intersect over here, right? So this point -2 and 4 they intersect at this place, so this coordinate is called -2, 4, clear. And -2, 4 lies in the second quadrant. All right, now moving on to the next one, that is 3, -1. 3 on the x axis, so 1, 2 and 3, here is the point, and -1 will be just 1 unit below. So if we draw perpendiculars, 3 -1 lies over here. So at this point we have 3 -1, x coordinate 3 plus 3 and y coordinate -1, clear. Now third point was -1, 0, very special because it didn't had any y coordinate and it only has one x coordinate, that is negative. So this point lies over here. I will be making this as a big point, thus we will write over here that here it is -1, 0, clear. It lies exactly on the axis. Moving on to the fourth point. The fourth point is 1, 2. So +1 and +2. So if we draw perpendiculars, +1 and +2 will intersect over here. +1 from x we will draw perpendicular and +2 from y we will draw perpendicular. They intersect at this point. So this point is +1, 2, clear. Now moving on to the last point, that is -3, -5. So -3 on x axis and -5 on y axis. So they will be over here. We are going perpendicular from -3 up to -5. So perpendicular from -5, both will intersect at this point. So at this point we have -3, -5. So it lies on the third quadrant, clear. So 1, 2 lies on the first quadrant, -2, 4 lies on the second quadrant, -1, 0 lies on negative x axis, -3, -5 lies in third quadrant, and 3, -1 lies on the fourth quadrant, clear. So this is how we will verify. We have already verified by theoretically and by graphically, clear. So moving on to the next question. Now question number 2 from exercise 3.3 is plot the points xy given in the following table on the plane, choosing suitable units of distance on the axis. So here we have xy. The first is -28, then we have -17, then third is little bit confusing, 0 minus 1.25, fourth point is 1 3, and fifth point is 3 minus 1. So let us start one by one. -2 and 8. So -2 on x-axis and 8 on y-axis, right? So -2 over here we will go perpendicularly, and 8 from here. So you can do like this, perpendicular from this one and perpendicular from this point. So here they intersect. This point is -2, 8. Clear? Now moving for the second one, -1, 7. You see, again we are starting from x-axis and we will go towards 7. So over here, if you see, we are drawing the perpendiculars which intersect at this point. I am writing like this, -1, 7. Clear? Alright, moving on to the third point, very important, 0 minus 1.25. Now very carefully you see, x-axis no value, so that means this point lies on y-axis. But again, y-axis -1 and 0.25. Okay, so using a normal scale we won't be able to find exactly, so here we will have to estimate, right? We will assume that it is slightly more than 1.2. okay, so what we will do, we will start from -1 and then each box will be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 likewise. So we will have to plot, we will have to see the second box after -1. So slightly below here there will be the point. So we are plotting this point and we will write 0 minus 1.25. So minus 1.25 lies little bit below -1. Okay. Now moving on to the fourth point, that is 1 3, both positive. First quadrant, we will start from 1 and it will intersect the perpendicular from 3. So here we will have this intersection point called 1 3. We are not being asked about any quadrant, so we are just plotting the points. Moving on to the fifth point, that is 3 minus 1. So 3 and -1. So now what happened, we will have to take care because the place has been taken by this. So that is why whenever you are writing with pencil, you are free to rub it properly and you can fix it somewhere else. This 0 minus 1.25 can also be written over here. So let us solve this problem. Perpendicular from 3 and perpendicular from -1. Both are intersecting at this point, so we will write over here 3 minus 1. Clear? So very carefully you see the first point -2, 8. So we started from -2, then 8, they intersect over here. So our point lies over here. Then we have -1, 7. So starting from -1 going towards 7, the second point lies here. The third point, very careful, 0. So no value on x-axis, only the value will lie on y-axis, that is -1.25, slightly below -1. So our point lies over here. The fourth point 1 3 will lie over here, 1 and 3. So 1 from x coordinate, 3 from y coordinate, the point lies over here. And the last one, 3 minus 1, 3 and -1, the point lies here. So this is all about exercise 3.3. Hope you have seen the video properly and carefully and you got all the points. Thank you. That's it for today.